Ever pondered about the peculiar connection between love and science? Well, you're not alone. As it turns out, love isn't just about red roses, chocolates and sweet nothings whispered under the twilight sky. It's a complex orchestra of chemicals, biology and physics playing out in our bodies and brains. Yes, you heard it right. Love is science in its most beautiful, mysterious form. Take our friend Professor Hartstruck, for instance. A man of science, a connoisseur of test tubes and petri dishes, whose world revolved around experiments and hypotheses. But one day, he found himself captivated by something he couldn't quite explain with his formulas. He was smitten, not by a new scientific theory, but by his charming lab partner. His heart fluttered when she was near, his palms became sweaty, and his brain seemed to short-circuit. It was as if he was under some sort of spell. This, my friends, was no ordinary lab experiment. It was the beginning of a love story. But being a scientist, Professor Hartstruck couldn't help but wonder, what was causing these strange symptoms? And so he embarked on a journey to decipher the scientific enigma called love. He discovered that when we're attracted to someone, our brains release chemicals like dopamine and oxytocin, creating feelings of happiness and attachment. His fast-beating heart was the result of adrenaline, and his sweaty palms were an evolutionary response to stress. In essence, Professor Hartstruck realized that his feelings of love were a carefully choreographed dance of chemicals and hormones, a beautiful symphony of science. Love, as it turns out, was not just an abstract emotion, but a tangible physical phenomenon. So it turns out, our scientist friend is not alone in his predicament. Science has something to do with all our love stories. Love isn't just poetry and passion, it's chemistry, biology and physics too. It's a fascinating world where the heart and the head intertwine, where the enigma of love meets the logic of science. So buckle up as we delve deeper into the captivating world of love and science in our upcoming scenes. Remember the butterflies in your stomach when you first saw your crush? That's chemistry for you. Picture a bright-eyed teenager, let's call her Lucy, on the cusp of adolescence. She spots a handsome lad across the schoolyard, and suddenly her heart's aflutter. It feels like 1,000 butterflies have taken flight in her stomach. This, my friends, is what we call the chemistry of attraction. But what's really happening inside Lucy's body? Well, let's dive into it. As Lucy lays eyes on this young man, her brain starts pumping out a cocktail of chemicals. First up, we have adrenaline, the hormone responsible for that racing heart and those sweaty palms. It's almost like Lucy's body is preparing for a marathon instead of a mere glance across the playground. Following adrenaline's lead, dopamine enters the scene. This neurotransmitter is often associated with pleasure and reward. Essentially, it's what makes Lucy feel good when she sees this young chap. It's the same chemical that makes us feel elated when we eat our favorite food or listen to our favorite song. Next up is serotonin, or as I like to call it, the obsession hormone. This chemical is the culprit behind Lucy's constant daydreaming about her crush. It's why she's doodling his name in her notebook instead of paying attention to her algebra lesson. Finally, we have oxytocin and vasopressin, the bonding hormones. These are the ones responsible for creating a sense of attachment. They're the reason why Lucy feels a connection with a boy she's barely spoken to. This intricate dance of hormones and neurotransmitters is what creates that exhilarating, confusing, and sometimes downright terrifying feeling of falling in love. It's a complex process, but it's also a universal one. It's something that each and every one of us has experienced at some point in our lives. So, the next time you feel your heart racing at the sight of your crush, remember, it's just your body playing chemist. Ever felt an inexplicable bond with someone? That's physics, my friend. Now let's dive into the fascinating world of physics where energy and vibrations have a starring role in our human connections. It's not just about the physical forces of attraction, but also about the energy we emanate and the vibrations we send out into the universe. Consider this amusing tale of two friends. Let's call them Jack and Jill. They were the best of pals, always together yet never crossing that line of friendship. They shared the same taste in music, loved the same kind of food, even their laughter sounded eerily similar. Coincidence? Maybe? Or perhaps it was their similar energy and vibrations drawing them closer. You see, each one of us is an energy field, vibrating at a particular frequency. Just as a string on a guitar vibrates to produce a certain note, we too vibrate at our unique note in the universe. This vibration is the result of our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The more positive our thoughts and emotions, the higher our frequency. Now back to our friends. Jack and Jill, despite being just friends, were often mistaken for a couple. Why? Because they were in sync, their energy levels matched. They were on the same wavelength, so to speak. Unbeknownst to them, their similar vibrations were creating a strong bond, a connection deeper than just friendship. One day, amidst their usual banter, they realized their feelings for each other had evolved. They were in love. Now, this wasn't some magical transformation. It was the result of their matching vibrations, their shared energy which had drawn them together. They were, in essence, resonating with one another, much like two tuning forks that vibrate at the same frequency. So, the next time you feel an unexplainable connection with someone, remember it's not just chemistry at play. It's also physics, the energy you emanate and the vibrations you send out into the universe. Indeed, we're all just particles in the universe, vibrating at our unique frequencies and occasionally finding a match. Ever wondered why some couples seem to grow stronger with time? Biology has some answers. Let's embark on a journey to explore the biological reasons behind long-term attachment. Picture this, a couple celebrating their golden anniversary. They are the epitome of long-term love, and their story can help us understand the science behind such enduring bonds. Their names are John and Mary. 50 years ago, they said their vows, promising to love and cherish each other. Today, their love is as robust as ever. But it's not just their vows that have kept them together all these years. Their bodies have played a significant part too. You see, when we fall in love, our bodies release a cocktail of hormones. For instance, Oxytocin, often dubbed the love hormone, is released during cuddling or holding hands. It strengthens the bond between individuals, creating feelings of trust and security. In the case of John and Mary, every time they held hands or hugged, their bodies released oxytocin, fortifying their bond. Another hormone that plays a crucial role in long-term love is vasopressin. It's associated with behaviors that maintain relationships, such as monogamy and parental care. As John and Mary journeyed through life together, vasopressin worked behind the scenes, encouraging them to stay committed to each other. But hormones are just part of the story. Our brains also play a role in long-term attachment. When we're in a long-term relationship, our brains start to associate our partner with positive emotions and rewards. This is thanks to a region of the brain called the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. For John and Mary, their brains associated each other with happiness, comfort and security, further strengthening their bond. So you see, long-lasting love isn't just about romantic gestures and shared experiences. It's also about biology. It's about the hormones that are released when we hold hands, the brain regions that associate our partner with positive feelings, and the biological mechanisms that encourage us to stay committed. So, long-lasting love is not just about hearts and flowers, it's also about our biological makeup. As we've seen, love is not just a poetic concept, but a scientific phenomenon too. It's a wondrous concoction of chemistry, physics and biology, all working together in a remarkable symphony. Let's take a quick journey back through our exploration. We began with the enchanting enigma of love, the intangible emotion that has inspired countless works of art, literature and music. We've seen that while love may seem mystical and beyond understanding, it's deeply rooted in our biological makeup. We then delved into the chemistry of attraction, where we learned about the role of hormones and neurotransmitters. Remember those butterflies in the stomach? That's adrenaline and norepinephrine kicking in. The blissful high of new love? Thank dopamine for that. But it's not just about the chemistry, there's physics involved too. We discussed the physics of connections, the magnetic pull between two people that feels like an invisible force field. It's like two particles in the universe drawn to each other by invisible strings of connection. And let's not forget the biology of long-term love. Those couples who've weathered the storms of life together, their love deepening over time, is due to a hormone called oxytocin, often referred to as the cuddle hormone. It's the glue that holds long-term relationships together, fostering a sense of security, trust and attachment. So, in essence, love is a complex and beautiful blend of science and emotion. It's a dance between our hearts and our hormones, a play of particles and forces, and a testament to our biological need for connection and companionship. As we part ways on this journey, I hope you've come to appreciate the beauty of love in a new light, not just as a whimsical flight of the heart, but as a fascinating interplay of science. So the next time you're caught in the throes of romance, remember, it's not just Cupid's arrow, but also a bit of science at work.